Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all reading? I just can't wait to be hearing.
Good morning, and welcome to Story Time. Thank you so much for joining in today. And as always, glad to be here with you. I do not take this opportunity to share time with you for granted. I appreciate you being here with us, and of course that we're able to read a book together. Thank you so much for joining in, and I hope that you did indeed have a lovely weekend. I did. Mine was a good one. Lots of relaxing, sleeping, resting, just laying around the house. I think it was much needed. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope that yours was a good one. I hope that it was one that was to your satisfaction. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. And we're back again this week with another exciting lineup. And we're going to be reading about some amazing personalities in history and, of course, the legacies that they have left for us. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today, and welcome. And thank you indeed for joining in. And remember, too, that we do have Jack the Library Cat that will be coming out on May 11th. And you know what? Marietta will be joining us then. So look out. Marietta will be here on Storytime May 11th when the book is finally out. Supply chain issues have delayed it a little bit, but it is coming. Jack the Library Cat will be here with us soon. And our amazing lineup this week, of course, we're starting off today with Only the Best. Yes, Only the Best is good here at Storytime. And then we do have the rest of the amazing books, as you can see from there. We have Woven of the World, The Snail, Guitar Genius, and then Seen and Unseen. So many powerful books this week indeed, and ones that will have us thinking for sure. Thank you so much for joining in, and welcome to Storytime. Let us see who is with us this morning, ready to enjoy a wonderful story. Good morning to you, Owen. Thank you for waiting on us. I am glad that we're here together. Good morning to you. Oh man, you're putting a grin on my face too. Thank you so much for joining in, Owen. I appreciate you. And of course, Christine Costa as well. Thank you so much for joining in. Where's Miles today? We send you hugs still, Miles. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Owen, thank you for being here. I hope that you had a great weekend. Thank you indeed. Good morning to you, Amanda West, and of course, Sarah and Nathan. How are you doing today out there in gray and cloudy and wet Illinois? Well, thank you so much for joining in. Please do stay dry. Find that cozy spot. It sounds like the perfect days for stories continue there in Illinois. Thank you so much for being here. And good morning to you, Owen, from Sarah and Nathan and Amanda. Well, Owen hears you, I'm sure. Thank you so much for joining in. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here. I hope that your weekend was good, and I am glad that we are here together today. Thank you for being here. Good morning to you, Tara McNamara, and of course, Clara and Erin out there in Massachusetts. Hey, we have a little break from the snow today. Hope everyone in California is holding up okay in the recent storms. Yeah, no, it's been a lot going on too weather-wise, and just We even got snow in the Bay Area. Like it's yeah, it's so much is happening. And I just saw on the news too that there was I think a landslide somewhere in Southern California and stuff. But yeah, just hoping that people are okay. I think only one home was destroyed or impacted. So hopefully damage stays to a minimum, and of course that people are okay. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you for sending us those well wishes and for asking here for sure. Thank you, and we hope that you have a wonderful rest of the day and of course rest of the week. Thank you so much for joining in, Tara, Erin, and Clara out there in Massachusetts. Thank you. Enjoy the day. Your off day, snow day. Thank you so much for joining in. Am I making sense? I hope so. Thank you so much for joining in. Well, we do have a wonderful book to get into together, and this one is called Only the Best. And this one is indeed the exceptional life and fashion of Ann Lowe, the story of Ann Lowe. And if you don't know about Ann Lowe, well, hopefully this will be an introduction. And if you already do, hopefully that we bring in some information too that will be adding to what you already have. And this one is written by the queen of nonfiction or creative nonfiction, Kate Messner, and Margaret E. Powell, and illustrations by Erin K. Robinson. So I hope you're ready for this one. A powerful one, a beautiful one, and lots to think about, lots to ponder in this one. Thank you so much for joining in today. Glad that you're here with us on Storytime. Only the Best coming up very shortly. The exceptional life and fashion of Ann Lowe. Thank you indeed for joining in Storytime. And we will be reading that one with permission of Chronicle Books of San Francisco. As always, a big thank you to them for allowing us to share such amazing books here on Storytime. Thank you so much for joining in. Chrissy Mitchell Adams, how are you doing today? Bowden, how are you in sunny and snowy Vermont? First day of our February vacation. Well, enjoy it. Oh my goodness, enjoy it. Thank you for spending part of that day with us here. We appreciate you. Hugs, hugs, hugs for sure. Thank you so much for joining in. Chrissy and Bowden, good to see you here on a live. I'm glad that you're able to catch us live today. Thank you so much for being here on Storytime. Good morning to you. How are you doing, Soraya? And of course, Sharon Lungo right here in Oakland, where it was rainy. It is cold. Please, please, as you're going out, be aware of that. Get your jackets, get your rain jackets, boots, everything that you need to be to stay dry and warm out there today. Thank you so much for joining in. Soraya and Sharon Lungo, Chrissy Mitchell Adams, Tara McNamara, and of course Clara and Erin, Amanda West, Sarah and Nathan, Christine Costa and Owen. Thank you for being here with us on the live, and to everybody that is joining us later on for the recordings. Please leave us a message. Let us know you are here so we can say hi to you indeed. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Are you ready for our story for today? This one coming up very shortly. Only the Best. The exceptional life and fashion of Ann Lowe. Join me for this one after this short break. Thank you indeed for being here on Storytime today. I absolutely appreciate you all.
Hi, friends. My name is Christy, and I am the author of A Heart in the Sand, also known as Un Corazón en la Arena. Now, this bilingual book is about tesoros, or treasures. And something that I treasure is my friendship with Mr. Lumada. So I have a challenge for you. Share this story time with someone who you treasure, and we can all spread the literary love.
Ah, yes. You know who I treasure? You. Yes. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Welcome back. And of course, we're reading today Only the Best, the exceptional life and fashion of Ann Lowe. And this one is written by Kate Messner and Margaret E. Powell and illustrated by Erin K. Robinson. I hope you're ready for this one. We're reading it with permission of the publishers, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. And you want to see something cool too? So look at this beautiful cover that we have. I just love it. But also, if we take the sleeve off, look at that. How cool is that? So if you do have a copy or when you do borrow a copy from the library, be sure to check under that sleeve too. Thank you so much for joining in. Here we go. Oh, I can't get the sleeve back. All right, there we go. Ready. Only the best. The Exceptional Life and Fashion of Ann Lowe. Written by Kate Messner and Margaret E. Powell, and illustrations by Erin K. Robinson. Being read with permission of the publishers, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. In a stately Alabama mansion, women in bright dresses twirl before a mirror. Their gowns glow like moonlight, glimmering fabrics, and the soft sheen of pearls. Who are they? Who are those people? In a stately mansion in Alabama, women in bright dresses twirl around a mirror. Their gowns glow like moonlight, glimmering fabrics, and the soft sheen of pearls. Ah, can you see them? Across town, an orchestra begins a waltz. Candles are lit, the music swells, and billowing skirts swish over the dance floor. Here in the garden outside a tiny dress shop, there are no candles, no music, but quiet laughter and the swish of fabrics drift out a window. The sweet smell of honeysuckle almost glimmers in the twilight. Anne plucks blossom and traces the petals. One day she will shape something just as perfect. Inside the shop, Anne's grandmother unrolls yards of taffeta and tulle. Anne's mother measures the fabric against her imagination. A dress begins to take shape. Fitted bodice with puffs in the sleeves. We can gather the skirt like this. Another pin, a stitch, and a trim. While ladies flip through the newest French fashions, Anne gathers scraps from the floor. Bits of midnight velvet and robin's egg satin, scraps of petal soft silk. And as I was preparing for this or rereading this book, getting ready for today, I saw robin's egg satin. Kind of reminded me of your description, Sarah and Nathan, of Illinois last time out when you said it was robin's egg blue. Robin's egg satin, scraps of petal soft silk. Anne snips and tacks, gathers and folds. The fabrics bloom in her hands. They look as real as the blossoms outside. What wonderful designs will you come up with today? With her mother's steady hand on hers, Anne learns to cut patterns from heavy brown paper. Soon, she's made a dress for herself. But if she's to sew as a professional, there is so much more to learn. How to edge seams in delicate lace, how to finish the hem just right, and learns vision, precision, attention to detail. Only the best will do. Before long, she's helping with gowns. Oh my. Hard work, practice. And learns vision, precision, attention to detail. Only the best will do. Before long, she's helping with gowns. When Montgomery, Alabama is dressed in garlands and greens, there's sewing to do for the New Year's ball. Countless gowns to be assembled, fitted, and hemmed. But Anne's mother falls ill. Oh no. She grows sicker, and then Anne is left all alone. Oh. No steady hands to guide her, no arms to hold her tight. All that remains is a garden of memories, the craft her mother taught her, and piles of hard work. There is no space for grief in a room filled with unfinished dresses. It's nearly New Year's Eve. The ladies are fretting. Will their gowns be finished on time? Anne folds her feelings and tucks away her tears. She works day and night the way her mother taught her. Only the best will do. Measure, snip, pin up the hems, thread the needle, pull the stitch tight, embroider the last lovely bloom. The dresses are finished on time. Everything is just right, except the empty room. Everything is just right, except the empty room. The next year is long and lonely, but with autumn comes a new opportunity. Anne packs up her sewing bag and boards a train to Florida to sew for a wealthy family whose daughters must have the best. The following year is long and lonely, but with spring comes a new opportunity. Anne packs her bags and boards a train and heads off to Florida to sew for a wealthy family whose daughters must have the best. Anne orders French silk in the shadow of palm trees. She gathers and drapes pins and cuts, and pulls each tiny stitch tight. She measures her work against her mother's sweet memory. Each gown will be custom made, one of a kind. Before long, all of Tampa knows Anne's name. Her gowns sparkle with glass and shimmer with pearls. The silk flowers look as if they might wilt by the end of the night. Extraordinary. Without one of Anne's dresses, a lady might as well stay home. Her gowns are the talk of every ball. Her gowns are the talk of every ball. Yes, before long, all of Tampa knows Anne's name. Her gowns sparkle with glass and shimmer with pearls. The silk flowers look as if they might wilt by the end of the night. Extraordinary. Without one of Anne's dresses, a lady might as well stay home. Her gowns are the talk of every ball. But Anne wants to see her creations in fashion magazines. She knows she has more to learn. Within a year, she serves enough money to enroll in a top French design course at the St. Taylor School in Manhattan. Anne is ready for New York. But New York isn't ready for Anne. It's 1917, and America American society is segregated by race. Yes, there are laws that are unjust and racist. The school has never had a black student. White women refuse to sew beside her. Sharing machines, they work through their lessons. Hmm. Anne is moved to a room by herself. Behind the closed door, she sits straight and tall. A careful snip, a delicate stitch, a garden bursts into bloom. And silk roses look like that would fool a bee. Yeah, so real looking. They could fool a bee. She, she hums through her lessons, so talented that the other students come to learn from her. She completes the course with honors, best in her class. She's expected nothing less. She's expected nothing less of herself. Yes, only the best would do. Now Anne has learned all that she needs to open a shop of her own. She returns to Tampa, making dresses for her old clients. She sews and saves some more until she can open a new shop in her own home. She hires neighborhood women, teaching them her craft, sketching designs, stitching on beads, painting pansies on chiffon. Here's how to ruffle silk into carnations. Here's how to fold tulle into pussy willow buds. Yes. But eventually, Tampa feels too small for Anne. She still longs to make dresses for New York's highest society. Anne goes back to Manhattan and opens a little shop of her own. But times are tough. Few people have money for gowns, and business never blooms. Anne searches for work instead. She visits a block with the finest boutiques, but every door is closed. The shop owners can't imagine that a black woman designs the most beautiful dresses in town. But Anne knows that her gowns belong on fancy Madison Avenue. She picks out the most respected dress shop in all of Manhattan and asks for a job. The answer is no. Anne goes home to her Harlem apartment, unrolls a length of chiffon, and measures the silk against her imagination. She sews a gown, her very best work, with a skirt that swishes and swirls. She snips and tacks and gathers and hems. She pulls each tiny stitch tight. Then she marches back into the store and offers to work for free until she's proved her worth. The shopkeeper puts Anne's dress in the window, and it sells that very same day. Anne has a job. In the back room, she orders rows of gleaming satin, yards of the sheerest tulle. The stitches pink. She stitches pink roses to embellish the hem. Their petals are soft as dew. She hand paints flowers down the length of her skirt. Only the best is what she will offer the millionaires and the movie stars who come to this shop. But Anne's name is missing from the dress labels. Her employers take all the credit. Still, customers seek her out. No one's work is as perfect as Anne's. So, when one of the most dazzling families has a wedding to plan, Anne is the only choice. This is the wedding of the year. The handsome young Senator John F. Kennedy is engaged to marry Jacqueline Bouvier. The bride and her bridesmaids need gowns, and Anne will design them all. There are weeks of meeting and sketching, designing and draping, so many dresses to make. Two months to the wedding, the fabric arrives. There are hundreds of yards of creamy French taffeta to fold and turn and sew. Only the best will do. 1 month to go. The bride's final fitting. Tuck a bit here, stitch a bit there. Does she love it? Is she happy? Will the dress be ready in time? A week to the wedding. Just a few small jobs left. The candy pink sachets and white satin caps. Anne is doing it. Anne arrives early and unlocks the door, eager to put the finishing touches on the wedding party's gowns. But just then, no! Something terrible has happened. A leak from the ceiling has flooded the workroom. Dirty water stains the skirts and the color bleeds from the sachets. Weeks of work wasted. So many gowns ruined. How can the wedding go on? With just days left, repairs feel impossible. But Anne gathers her weeping seamstresses. We've got to stop all this crying and get this place cleaned up. Will they do it? Will they be able to do it in time? There's no space for tears in a room full of unfinished dresses. Anne has promised to deliver the best of the best. She has worked under deadline before, and this time she's not alone. Order more taffeta. Quickly, now, quickly. Restitch this bodice. Replace this stained skirt. Everyone sews day and night and all week long. Will the dresses be finished on time? That is the question, isn't it? Will the dresses be finished on time? Yes, they dazzle, they glimmer. They are all that she hoped. And Anne won't let them out of her sight. Normally, her assistant would take the gowns to the bride, but Anne wants to meet the senator. She will make this delivery herself. Oh, look at those beautiful dresses, beautiful gowns. Wow. These gowns are stunning, the best of the best, fit for a queen and her court. Anne steps up to the mansion door with pride. She knocks. A butler answers. Use the back door, he says, as if she's just a servant. The back door? Anne has measured and snipped and pinned and cut, pulling each stitch tight. She is one of the most talented designers in all of New York. She is not just anything. The back door? No, that is not going to happen. Anne stands up tall and says, "Then would you please tell the senator and Miss Bouvier that there will be no wedding today, because I am taking the dresses back with me." The butler steps aside and Anne walks in with the dresses, and the fairy tale wedding begins. Her gowns swirl and twirl all night long. Anne is there too, watching them shine, but she doesn't rest for long. There are more dresses to design. There are more dresses to design. Now Anne works in a new salon on Madison Avenue. She keeps a book of client sizes, heights, and necklines and waists, but measures her own work against the gowns in her dreams. Fabric, the color of new leaves in April, skirts that flare out like upside down blue blossoms, only the best will do. One more touch, add the flowers with a roll of the fingertips, silk curves into perfect petals. Now a cascade of rose blossoms will gleam in the light as this skirt swishes over the floor. Mwah. And you know what? And the name on the label is the name over the door. Ann Lowe. Yes, indeed. And the name on the label is the name over the door. And that is the end of our story for today. And there is a lot more to read in the back too. The author's note has a lot more information, and I encourage you to do it. And actually, there's a picture of one of Anne's dresses there. As you can see down that picture that I'm showing you, it says on there, Nell Lee wearing a custom-made Ann Lowe original bridal gown. It's a picture from 1926. And there's a lot more information to get on that too. And also Kate Messner talks about, quotations that she was able to gather from just in history to stitch together this book, so to speak. And so, yeah, lots of information for you to look at in the back as well. But as you can see, lots to think about, lots that was happening at that time. Even though Anne was talented and got probably the best apprenticeship from her mom, she still had a lot to go through, a lot to get over, including racist laws and we, as we know, too, so much that was going on at that time with segregation and everything else. Yes, thank you so much for joining in Story Time today. I hope that you enjoyed that story. I hope that we learned something from it, and we'll be back after this short break for more Story Time.
Hola, my name is Shamile Sayed Mendez, and I am the author of Where Are You From, Furia, and many other books for young readers. You're watching Story Time with Mr. Limara.
Welcome back indeed. Thank you so much for joining me today. Only the best. The exceptional life and fashion of Ann Lowe. And I hope we learned something from that too. Please, if you can find it at your local library, get it and read along. And of course, I encourage you to read the back, the author's note. So much information in there as well. But because of time today, we won't get into it in our reading today. Thank you so much for being here. Good to see everybody here on Storytime. Please do not forget that we are back again tomorrow for more Storytime. And tomorrow we are back with a book that is called The Snail. We will be reading about a man that was called or is known as the Snail, Isamu Noguchi. So let's find out what this one is all about. Join in tomorrow and indeed let us learn from this amazing person. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Glad we were here together. A big thank you to Chronicle Books, of course, for allowing us today to share only the best, exceptional life and fashion of Ann Lowe. And of course, tomorrow we're back with another Chronicle book. And this one is called The Snail. And this one is coming from Emily Hughes, who we've featured here on Storytime before. Thank you so much for joining me. I am glad that we were here together. Thank you. Marietta, good to see you out there in Massachusetts. Thank you so much for joining in. And you say more snow coming tonight. Well. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope you enjoy the day before the snow comes. Please do stay warm, do stay dry. Thank you so much for joining us on Storytime. Always a pleasure to see you here. And of course, looking forward to having you on Storytime on May 11th. Thank you so much for joining in today. Absolutely appreciate you. Soraya loves the book because she has been playing with fashion design herself. Well, Soraya, I am so glad to know that. And if you do, Soraya, if you don't have this book, just let me know, let mommy know. Sharon, let me know if you guys would want to pick this book up, or we can get it to you. So just let me know and this book can be yours. Thank you so much for joining me on Storytime today. Absolutely appreciate you. And of course, Chrissy and Bowden, good to see you here on Storytime. Enjoy the vacation. Yes, thank you so much for being here, for spending time with us. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you have a wonderful time out there in Vermont. And of course, good morning to you one more time, Clara and Erin out in Massachusetts. Thank you for joining us on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. And of course, we hope to see you again tomorrow for more story time, and indeed enjoy the break from the snow today. Thank you so much for being here with us. Sarah and Nathan out in gray and cloudy and wet Illinois today. Thank you so much for joining in, and you were saying hello to Owen as well. Yes, indeed, Owen, good morning to you. And of course, Christine Costa, thank you so much for joining us on Storytime. Please do join us again tomorrow for another exciting book that we have, and this one is called The Snail. Join me tomorrow and find out what that one is all about. From Emily Hughes and Chronicle Books of San Francisco. This has been Storytime for today. This has been Storytime for this wonderful Monday morning. Thank you for being here with us. Just a reminder again, May 11th, Jack the Library Cat is coming to Storytime. Remember that originally it was supposed to be March 2nd, but because of supply chain issues, Jack the Library Cat coming out May 11th. And of course, Marietta Apollonia will be here with us as well at that time. And of course, a wonderful lineup of books awaits this week. We've read Only the Best, and we have The Snail coming up tomorrow, and so many more to come. Thank you so much for being here with us on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow when we're back for more Storytime. Much love from me. Bye-bye.
Story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all reading? I just can't wait to be hearing with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing. Brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be